Well, hello everyone and welcome to Momentum channel. My name is Mo, and in this video, I want to provide a quick update in terms of our portfolio that we have in the stock market. This is a portfolio that my wife and I have built over time. I've been investing in the market for over 6 years and have learned a ton through that time. There have been failures that I've taken into account, as well as some successes and lessons learned, that all of which have helped me become a better investor. Which is why today I'm super excited to be introducing a new video series to my channel. As you know, for those who are following me on Blossom social app, there is this function and ability to post your portfolio more publicly with other users there and ask for feedback. I would love it to have the opportunity to use some of my past learnings to provide my 2 cents in terms of assessing your portfolio through a video series, a short video series. So if you're interested to take part in that, it's a optional service that I'm providing at no cost. It's totally complimentary. I would love for you to be featured in my videos as a result of that. So do let me know either by commenting on this video on YouTube or commenting down through the Blossom social app and show your interest. Then I will be sure to consider you for one of the upcoming video series, reviewing your portfolio and providing my 2 cents. What are some of the opportunities for it to be improved, and what are some of the positives that I do see in your portfolio? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about always change, but also we want to acknowledge some of the good things that you're doing in terms of the setup of portfolio. Keep in mind, this is not going to be, of course, a financial advice. It will be mostly from the lens of me, based on my personal experience, providing my 2 cents. At the end of the day, it's your portfolio. You have your financial goals, and really, you know best what is your long-term goal. It would be me providing some of my observations and questions sometimes, so that you can kind of have that external perspective to things and really rethink if that's something that you're aspiring to accomplish, or something that you would actually are intentionally going about. Another quick update is that this week has been a super busy week for my wife and I. My wife actually does make these beautiful artisan handmade jewelries, and she's been selling those on the side through her Etsy shop, and she's had some success with it, but we've never actually tried it out to be in person, attending a market or anything like that. So I live here in Edmonton with my wife, and this weekend, since Friday, there was actually a 3-day pop-up kind of market. It's part of the Edmonton Art Block. It was called On the Spot. So we did attend it. The past 2 days has been phenomenal. Lots of interactions, lots of interest, and of course, people who bought her jewelries. Today is going to be the last day, which is why this past week has been super busy for me. I haven't been making a lot of videos, but wonderful experience. One of the things that really stands out the most to me is the fact that you get to interact with people. You get to talk to them about the story behind the jewelries, how they come to be created, what's the artist's story and passion around it, and why they designed it the way that they have. It's super engaging and wonderful. And I've actually met a few of my colleagues or a few friends that I recognize them either from Instagram or Spot. So if by any chance you're in Edmonton and are free this weekend, be sure to come by and say hello. I would love to see you in person as well. And lastly, looking at our stock market portfolio that my wife and I have, you see currently the total size of the portfolio is sitting at $479,000. This portfolio consists of mainly 9 holdings. Our biggest holding in terms of the market value invested is VDY. This is the Vanguard high quality dividend index ETF. It does pay a monthly dividend. We're expecting to collect a monthly dividend from VDY very shortly as well. We currently have close to $149,000 invested in it. Through this investment, we are expected to collect close to $6,500 in dividend income every single year. I want to bring to your attention that this portfolio is focused both on dividend and growth. We are not just solely and blindly going for dividend income. If that was the case, we would have mainly put our money in ETFs or stocks that pay a very high dividend yield. But you do notice that that's not the case. In fact, almost half of our investments are in ETFs in this case that are more geared towards growth. Examples that I bring to your attention are VFV, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF. This one is really geared towards growth. The dividend yield for it is very, I would say, low in general terms. I would say it's less than 1.5% annually. The other thing is we have VTI. This is this is one of the accounts that we have in our RSP account because it's in US dollars to avoid the withholding tax. With VTI, you're getting exposure to the entire US stock market as a whole, and we are up by 6.4%. For VFV, we are currently up by almost 11%. VDY that I touched on earlier, we are down by 2.1%. In fact, the two holdings that we are currently down in it are both Canadian exposure, VDY. It gives you exposure to that, about 50 top Canadian dividend paying stocks. We are down 2.1%. And 𝐋𝐈𝐖, we are down in terms of the market price by 2.2%. 𝐋𝐈𝐖 gives us exposure to the entire Canadian stock market. And the third best performing stock is also another one that gives us exposure to the US stock market. It is 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐿. With 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝐿, you get exposure to the entire US stock market virtually, and this one is available in Canadian dollars. Following that, we have two all-in-one ETFs. VT gives us is actually the Vanguard Total World Stock Market Index ETF. It's available in USD and it's up by 3.1%. And V Equity, it's another product by Vanguard, gives us exposure to the entire world. The beauty with VT and V Equity is that, especially for somebody who doesn't want to buy a lot of stocks or ETFs, just by sheerly buying into those, you get exposure, a diversified exposure to the entire US stock market, including US stocks, Canadian stocks. You also get exposure to international markets and emerging markets. Really, really great ways to hold those ones. For us, we are holding V Equity only in one of our accounts. It's our only account that we have with Questrade. The main reason for keeping it separate is that we are using it for our Smith Maneuver portfolio. Smith Maneuver is the topic of another video, and we've made some videos here on YouTube channel if you are interested to follow along. I'm not going to dive into too much, but it's intentional for us to keep it separate from the rest of the accounts because from a taxing perspective, we don't want to confuse things. And VT is one that we are holding it in our USD RSP account with Wealthsimple Trade. The other two accounts that are barely negative, I would say fraction of a point, 0.1% negative or 0.2% negative, or XEF and XCC. With XEF, it's a BlackRock product, gives us exposure to international markets solely, and with XEC, we get exposure to the emerging market solely. We are also trying to build gradually bigger shares of those in our portfolio because we want to get some more diversification. From an asset allocation perspective, this portfolio is geared towards 50% US stock market investments. That's our target. We want to get 25% exposure to international markets, 15% to Canadian markets, and lastly 10% to emerging markets. We still have some gaps. We've tried to close the gap between what we actually own of US exposure versus the target. I think we're close to 47% invested in US market, which is very close to that 50% target. But there's some gaps when it comes to Canadian markets. I think our exposure is a lot higher to Canadian market, probably over 30%, whereas we want to bring it down to 15%. We're not trying to sell a lot of our holdings. Instead, we want to put more money into the market and use those new money to instead now focus more on buying those shares of international, US, and emerging markets. On top of that, as we collect dividend income, we are averaging around $800 to $900 dividend income per month. More or less. And as we collect those dividend income, we're trying to reuse that, reinvest them right away into those other shares that we want to balance our asset allocation as a result of that. The link to this portfolio that you see on the screen is available for you if that's something that interests you. It's publicly available, so you could get to play along with it. As you select any of these holdings, it zooms in for you and provides you more information around that. What's the management expense ratio for this ETF? And if you have any question of why we've selected these ETFs, I'm more than happy to provide more information to you, either through subsequent videos or through comment section. So do let me know, and I would be happy to touch on that for sure for you to consider. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video until the end. I hope you found it beneficial and you gained something of value from it. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Here on Momentum Finance, I post every week videos about investing, including investing in dividend stocks, growth stocks. I also talk about ways to reach financial freedom. And of course, please, aside from the YouTube channel, I'm available on other social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, and of course on Blossom. I'd love to have you follow along and share your journey with me, because that's where a lot of the stories happen and that's where a lot of learnings happen from one another. Thank you, and I hope to see you all next time.